All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Saira Mujtaba. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair 6th meeting of Niti Ayog Governing Council this morning. Prime Minister launches key power and urban sector projects in Kerala. India and China to hold 10th round of Corps Commander level talks today on the Chinese side of the line of actual control in Moldo. India crosses landmark milestone of over 1 crore vaccine doses administered against COVID-19. Pharma major Dr. Reddy's Laboratories seeks emergency use authorization of Sputnik V vaccine from Drugs Controller General of India. India and Ethiopia signed 2 agreements related to visa facilitation and leather technology. US officially rejoins Paris Climate Agreement overturning Donald Trump's decision to exit. World-famous Khajuraho Dance Festival begins today in Madhya Pradesh. And in Australian Open, Naomi Osaka of Japan to take on Jennifer Brady of US in women's singles final today. In mixed doubles final, Samantha Stosur and Matthew Ebden of Australia to clash with Barbora Krejcikova of Czech Republic and Rajiv Ram of US. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will chair the 6th meeting of the Governing Council of Niti Ayog this morning through video conferencing. The agenda of the meeting includes deliberations on agriculture, infrastructure, manufacturing, human resource development, service delivery at grassroots level, and health and nutrition. Our correspondent has filed this report.
The Governing Council presents a platform to discuss inter-sectoral, interdepartmental and federal issues. It comprises the Prime Minister, Chief Ministers of States and Union Territories with legislatures, and Lieutenant Governors of other Union Territories. The 6th meeting will witness the entry of Ladakh for the first time, in addition to the participation of Jammu and Kashmir as a Union Territory. This time, other Union Territories headed by administrators have also been invited to join. The meeting will also be attended by the ex officio members of the Governing Council, Union Ministers, Vice Chairman, members and Chief Executive Officer of Niti Ayog and other senior officials of Government of India. Anupam Mishra, AR News, Delhi.
The Prime Minister inaugurated and laid the foundation stone of key projects of power and urban sector in Kerala through video conferencing. The Prime Minister dedicated to the nation the Pugalur-Thrissur Power Transmission Project. The project, that was completed at a cost of 5,070 crore rupees, will enable Thrissur district to be the major power hub of Kerala. This will be pivotal in meeting the rising energy demands of the state. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said these projects will be major milestones in Kerala's growth trajectory.
The development works starting today are spread across the state. They cover a wide range of sectors. They will power and empower this beautiful state whose people are making rich contributions to India's progress. The 2,000 megawatt state-of-the-art Pugalur-Thrissur high-voltage direct current system is being inaugurated today. This is the first HVDC interconnection of Kerala with national grid. This system will facilitate transfer of large quantum of power to meet the growing power demand of the state.
The Prime Minister also dedicated to the nation the 50-megawatt Kasargod solar power project developed under the National Solar Energy Mission. The Prime Minister opined the projects will play a crucial role in meeting the nation's green energy targets.
There is one another aspect which makes me happy about this project. The HVDC equipment used in project have been made in India. This makes our Atmanirbhar Bharat movement stronger. Friends, we are not just dedicating a transmission project. We have a project of producing electricity also. It is a pleasure to dedicate yet another clean energy asset of 50 megawatt capacity, the Kasaragod Solar Project. This will be a step in achieving the green and clean energy dream of our country.
Mr. Modi said farmers are also being connected with the solar sector to make our Annadatas as Urjadatas.
India is devoting great importance to solar energy. Our gains in solar energy ensure a stronger fight against climate change, a boost to our entrepreneurs. Work is also underway to connect our hard-working farmers with the solar sector, make our Annadata also Urjadata. Under PM Kusum Yojana, over 20 lakh solar power pumps are being given to farmers. In the last 6 years, India's solar energy capacity is up 13 times.
The Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone for the Integrated Command and Control Centre at Thiruvananthapuram. The control centre, built at a cost of 94 crore rupees, will act as the control room, integrating various departments in case of any contingency. In addition to this, the Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone of the Smart Roads project in Thiruvananthapuram. This project will transform the roads of the state capital to international standards. A water treatment plant at Aravikkara was also inaugurated by him that will boost the supply of drinking water in the capital city. An aggregate 30 lakh people will be beneficiaries of this project through uninterrupted per capita water availability. The Prime Minister said the central government has implemented numerous projects for the welfare of fishermen in the state.
India is investing in our blue economy. We value the efforts of our fishermen. Our efforts for fishermen community are based on more credits, increased technology, top quality infrastructure, supportive government policies. Fishermen now have access to Kisan credit cards. We are encouraging the use of latest technology that will help them navigate the waters. Work is underway to modernize boats they use.
The central budget has allotted a considerable share for the construction of fishing harbour in Cochin. During the event, the Prime Minister annotated the lines from a poem of popular Malayalam poet Kumara Ashan. The Prime Minister said the government aims to bring in development of all sections of the society without any barriers of religion and caste.
The Prime Minister said that the strong India-Australia partnership will play an important role in shaping the post-COVID world. Mr. Modi was addressing the valedictory function of India-Australia Circular Economy Hackathon through video conferencing. The Prime Minister asserted that the youth of both countries, young innovators and startups will be at the forefront of this partnership.
I thank my dear friend Prime Minister Scott Morrison for his support to this joint initiative. I also commend all the participants for their commitment despite the COVID-19 pandemic. For me, you are all winners. Friends, as humanity faces the challenges posed by climate change, the theme of this hackathon is relevant to the whole world.
A circular economy is an economic system aimed at eliminating waste, and with the continual use of resources, it implies reducing waste to a minimum. Speaking on the occasion, the Prime Minister said, recycling and reusing things, eliminating waste and improving resource efficiency must become a part of our lifestyles. He pointed out that circular economy can be a key step in solving many of our challenges. The Prime Minister said circular economy can be a key step in addressing the ecological strain on our planet. He stressed on the need to look at our consumption patterns and how we can reduce their ecological impact. India and China to hold 10th round of Corps Commander level talks today on the Chinese side of the line of actual control in Moldo. The two sides are likely to discuss disengagement from other friction points after disengagement from both northern and southern banks of Pangong Tso Lake. The disengagement process of troops of the Indian Army and China's People's Liberation Army from the line of actual control was reached after sustained negotiations at the military and diplomatic level. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh last week said that India's strategy and approach during disengagement talks with China are based on the guidance of Prime Minister Narendra Modi that India will not allow an inch of its territory to be taken by anyone.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has launched the BRICS 2021 website. The website will provide a comprehensive snapshot of the strong BRICS engagement and the exhaustive calendar of events during BRICS under the chairmanship of India. It also soft-launched the upgraded facilities at Sushma Swaraj Bhavan that will serve as the secretariat for BRICS Summit. India and Ethiopia have signed 2 agreements related to visa facilitation and leather technology. The agreements were signed in the presence of Ethiopia Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen Hassan and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar. Hassan is on a 4-day visit to India from February the 16th. Dr. Jaishankar tweeted that he had useful and productive discussions with Hassan on a range of bilateral and regional issues. The 2 ministers agreed to expand India and Ethiopia bilateral agenda, especially defence, economics, science and technology, digital and cultural cooperation.
Minister of State for External Affairs V. Muralidharan has launched a new scheme by which an applicant can leverage the DigiLocker platform of the Government of India while applying for passport-related services from anywhere in India. The Ministry of External Affairs MEA said that with the launch of this new scheme, applicants applying for passport services can provide a link to their specific documents uploaded in the DigiLocker. This would enable citizens to submit various documents required for passport services through DigiLocker in a paperless mode. DigiLocker is a key initiative under Digital India, a flagship program aimed at transforming India into a digitally empowered society and knowledge-based economy. Jammu and Kashmir Police has arrested 2 Lashkar-e-Taiba LET terror associates in North Kashmir. The duo were arrested near Papachan Bandipur Bridge in Bandipora and have been identified as Abid Waz and Shabbir Ahmad Gojar. On preliminary inquiry, it was revealed that the accused were associated with terror outfit Lashkar-e-Taiba and were providing shelter, logistics and other material support to active terrorists of the organization in the area, and they were tasked by their handlers to carry a grenade attack on security forces in Bandipora. The police also said that a case under relevant sections of law has been registered in this regard and further investigation is underway.
President Ramnath Kovind has extended his greetings on Mizoram's Statehood Day. In a tweet today, Mr. Kovind said, "We are proud of the vibrant Mizo culture and my greetings to the people of this beautiful state full of lush forests and lovely flowers."
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair 6th meeting of Niti Ayog Governing Council this morning. Prime Minister launches key power and urban sector projects in Kerala. India and China to hold 10th round of Corps Commander level talks today on the Chinese side of the line of actual control in Moldo. India crosses landmark milestone of over 1 crore vaccine doses administered against COVID-19. Pharma Major Dr. Reddy's Laboratories seeks emergency use authorization of Sputnik V vaccine from Drugs Controller General of India. India and Ethiopia signed 2 agreements related to visa facilitation and leather technology. US officially rejoins Paris Climate Agreement, overturning Donald Trump's decision to exit. World-famous Khajuraho Dance Festival begins today in Madhya Pradesh. And in Australian Open, Naomi Osaka of Japan to take on Jennifer Brady of US in women's singles final today. In mixed doubles final, Samantha Stosur and Matthew Ebden of Australia to clash with Barbara Krejcikova of Czech Republic and Rajiv Ram of US. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
The country has crossed a landmark milestone in its fight against corona pandemic by administering over 1 crore vaccines against COVID-19 in a span of just over a month. The COVID-19 recovery rate in the country has also improved to 97.3%. A total of 658,674 beneficiaries were vaccinated yesterday, which is the highest single-day vaccinations during the ongoing COVID-19 vaccination drive. Briefing media in New Delhi, Joint Secretary in Health Ministry Dr. Mandeep Bhandari said 1,04,49,942 beneficiaries have been vaccinated till now. Pharma major Dr. Reddy's Laboratories announced that it has initiated the process with the Drugs Controller General of India for emergency use authorization of human adenoviral vector-based platform vaccine candidate Sputnik V. The Hyderabad-based firm yesterday said as part of the review process it will present the safety profile of the Phase 2 study and interim data of the Phase 3 study, which is expected to be completed by February the 21st. Dr. Reddy's partnered with the Russian Direct Investment Fund in September 2020 to conduct the clinical trials of the Sputnik V and for its distribution rights in India. The vaccine is currently in Phase 3 clinical trial in India. Sputnik V has demonstrated an efficacy rate of 91.6% in the interim analysis of the Phase 3 clinical trial, which included data on 19,866 volunteers in Russia who received both the first and second doses of the vaccine. Sputnik V maintained a consistent efficacy at 91.8% even among the group of 2,144 volunteers over 60 years old. G.V. Prasad, co-chairman and managing director, Dr. Reddy's Laboratories, said that the efficacy of Sputnik V was reported to be 91.6% by the Lancet, which is an impressive development in the fight against COVID-19. Sputnik V, developed by the Gamaleya National Research Institute of Epidemiology and Microbiology, was registered by the Ministry of Health for Russia on August the 11th, 2020. Sputnik V became the world's first registered vaccine against COVID-19 based on the human adenoviral vector platform.
Maharashtra reported a rise in COVID-19 cases yesterday. The state's public health department said over 6,000 fresh cases were registered in the last 24 hours, a highest single-day count in over 3 months. The number of active coronavirus cases rose to 44,765. At least 44 people succumbed to the disease in the last 24 hours, pushing the death toll to 51,713 in Maharashtra. Mumbai's caseload increased by 823, taking the financial capital's cumulative total to 3,17,310. Meanwhile, the state government has said that the new strains of coronavirus found in UK, South Africa and Brazil have not been detected in Amravati, Yavatmal and Satara, which are emerging as new hotspots. A report from our Mumbai correspondent.
The health department has said that in view of increase in cases in Pune, Satara, Amravati and Yavatmal districts, genome sequencing of coronavirus samples from these areas was carried out. 4 samples each from Satara, Yavatmal and Amravati were tested at BJ Medical College Laboratory in Pune. No mutation similar to that found in new strains in the UK, South Africa or Brazil was observed. Similarly, no mutation in genome was found in 12 samples from Pune district. However, some more samples from Amravati and Yavatmal have been sent for genome testing to the Pune-based National Institute of Virology and National Center for Cell Science. On the other hand, more than 14,000 healthcare and frontline workers were inoculated with the COVID-19 vaccine yesterday. Kunal Shinde, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Gujarat, 266 fresh cases of COVID-19 were reported in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to over 266,000, while the death toll increased by 1. The state health department said 277 patients were discharged during the day. The recovery count in the state is 260,475. Our correspondent reports that Vadodara accounted for 51 new cases, followed by 47 in Ahmedabad, 46 in Surat and 29 in Rajkot. 8,09,000 people have been vaccinated in the state so far. In Orissa, more than 5 lakh beneficiaries have been inoculated against COVID-19 so far. About 82% healthcare workers and 64% of frontline workers have received the first vaccine shot. A report from our correspondent.
In terms of first dose vaccine coverage of healthcare workers, Odisha comes third among the states as of now. The state has also begun administering the second dose of vaccines to the beneficiaries from the 15th of February last. Meanwhile, even amid a sustained decline in active cases in the state, which now is down at only 658, the state government have directed all the district and municipal authorities to ensure strict compliance of COVID-appropriate behavior, particularly in crowded places, to prevent any resurgence of the virus as in some other states. Girish Chandra Das, AIR News, Bhubaneswar.
In Bihar, a total of 35,019 healthcare workers took the second dose of COVID-19 vaccine during the past 24 hours. So far, 550,299 beneficiaries have been inoculated with the vaccine doses since the start of vaccination drive in the state. Meanwhile, 259,973 patients have recovered from the COVID-19 infection in the state so far. COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 99.22% in Bihar. G7 leaders have pledged to intensify cooperation on COVID-19 and increase their contribution to the COVAX vaccine sharing initiative. In a joint statement released after a virtual summit last night, the G7 leaders raised their overall commitment to $7.5 billion. The move is expected to boost the distribution of COVID-19 vaccines to poor nations. U.S. President Joe Biden has pledged $4 billion for COVAX vaccinations program. The move is expected to boost the distribution of COVID-19 vaccines to poor nations. According to reports, half of the money will be released by the end of this month and the rest over the next 2 years. Earlier in the week, the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has criticized the distribution of vaccines, calling it wildly uneven and unfair. He urged the global north to contribute more to COVAX facility to help fight the pandemic in the global south. The COVAX program, which is under the World Health Organization, has already missed its own goal of distributing vaccinations in poor countries at the same time that vaccinations began in wealthy nations.
The United States has officially rejoined the Paris Agreement. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, in a tweet last night, said, "It is a good day in our fight against the climate crisis as the U.S. is once again a party to the Paris Agreement." He said the work to reduce U.S. emissions has already begun and the U.S. will waste no time in engaging its partners around the world to build its global resilience. Blinken, in a statement, said, "What we do in the coming weeks, months and years is even more important." Hours after he was sworn in on 20th of January, U.S. President Joe Biden signed an executive order beginning the 30-day process for the U.S. to re-enter the Global Pact. The U.S. had officially exited the agreement late last year on the order of the then President Donald Trump. Under the Paris Agreement, countries are expected to enhance their commitments to curb greenhouse gas emissions every 5 years. The goals of the Global Pact are to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius and pursue efforts to limit it to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Naomi Osaka of Japan will take on Jennifer Brady of US in the final of women's singles at the Australian Open Tennis in Melbourne today. Naomi Osaka is bidding to maintain her 100% record in Grand Slam finals as she chases a second Australian Open crown. Jennifer Brady is appearing in her maiden Slam final just months after losing to Osaka in the US Open semis. Three-time Grand Slam champion Osaka is currently enjoying a 20-match winning streak with her last defeat that came on 7th of February 2020. She sealed her place for the final with a straight sets victory over 7-time Australian Open winner Serena Williams. In the mixed doubles final, Samantha Stosur and Matthew Ebden of Australia will clash with Barbora Krejcikova of Czech Republic and Rajiv Ram of US today. The men's singles final will be played tomorrow.
The world-famous Khajuraho Dance Festival begins today in Madhya Pradesh. It will conclude on the 26th of this month. More from our Bhopal correspondent.
The Minister of Culture and Tourism of Madhya Pradesh, Ms. Usha Thakur, will inaugurate the globally acclaimed Khajuraho Dance Festival. Significantly, this ceremony will be held once again in the temple complex after a gap of 44 years. This will give the audience a chance to watch the performance amid the aura of the temple. Khajuraho dance ceremony will start at 7 p.m. daily. Admission to this will be free. The event will begin with Bharatnatyam by Geeta Chandran and her troupe and Kathak by Deepak Maharaj. Principal Secretary Culture and Tourism Mr. Shiv Shekhar Shukla informed that art lovers will be able to take part in adventure activities also. He informed that the department has made all the necessary arrangements for social distancing as per COVID protocol. Pooja P. Vardhan, AIR News, Bhopal.
And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi witnessed moderate fog this morning. The minimum temperature was 10 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 29 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a mainly clear sky. The lower limit of temperature was 22 degrees Celsius while the upper limit is expected to be 32 degrees. Chennai is likely to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. The temperature will vary between 24 and 31 degrees Celsius. In Kolkata, the minimum temperature was 19 degrees Celsius while the upper level is expected to be 30 degrees. Srinagar will have a mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The temperature will hover between 1 and 15 degrees Celsius. Jammu, Leh and Gilgit will have a mainly clear sky. In Jammu, the minimum temperature was 11 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be 23 degrees. Leh is witnessing very cold weather as the minimum temperature was -10 and the maximum would be just 6 degrees. Gilgit will see a wide variation in temperature as the minimum temperature was -1 and the maximum would be 20 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad may see a partly cloudy sky towards afternoon or evening. The temperature will hover between 7 and 25 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will rise from a minimum of 10 degrees Celsius and will reach a maximum of 27 degrees. In Chandigarh, the temperature is likely to hover between 11 and 27 degrees Celsius. In Hyderabad, the lower limit of temperature was 18 degrees Celsius, while the upper limit will be 31 degrees. In Ahmedabad, the minimum temperature was 17 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be nearly 33 degrees. Patna's temperature will move between 14 and 28 degrees Celsius. And in Guwahati, the minimum temperature was 15 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 30 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Most dailies lead with Pangong disengagement. Other friction points to be discussed today, reports the Indian Express. The Pioneer and the Hindu headlines say that China admitted for the first time that 4 PLA soldiers died in Galwan clash. India vaccinates 1 crore in 34 days, second fastest in the world after US, headlines the Asian Age. Surge in cases, Maharashtra, Kerala hotspots, reports the Tribune. The Election Commission of India has decided to deploy 125 companies of Central Forces in West Bengal by 25th February for the ensuing assembly election, reports the Economic Times. Quoting the MEA, the Asian Age reports that DigiLocker documents will be accepted for passport. And finally, on NASA's Mars landing, Indian-American scientist Swati Mohan makes history on 2 planets, writes Hindustan Times. The Times of India headline states, Desi scientist calls it NASA's Mars touchdown confirmed.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to chair 6th meeting of Niti Ayog Governing Council this morning. Prime Minister launches key power and urban sector projects in Kerala. India and China to hold 10th round of co-commander level talks today on the Chinese side of the line of actual control in Moldo. India crosses landmark milestone of over 1 crore vaccine doses administered against COVID-19. Pharma major Dr. Reddy's Laboratories seeks emergency use authorization of Sputnik V vaccine from Drugs Controller General of India. India and Ethiopia signed 2 agreements related to visa facilitation and leather technology. US officially rejoins Paris Climate Agreement, overturning Donald Trump's decision to exit. World-famous Khajuraho Dance Festival begins today in Madhya Pradesh. And in Australian Open, Naomi Osaka of Japan to take on Jennifer Brady of US in women's singles final today in mixed doubles final. Samantha Stosur and Matthew Ebden of Australia to clash with Barbora Krejcikova of Czech Republic and Rajiv Ram of US. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.